You are exactly where you are supposed to be. 84 hours of fasting, and I came to some conclusions, and I'm going to give those to you today. It's a whole thing for the Daily Truth. I'm Anthony Michael Russo. Good morning. Hope everybody is having a great start to the week. Thank you for joining me, OBBM, all my different platforms. Today's the first day. I'm not putting this on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's only going to have short form. Let's get really quick into all the things I got to talk about before I get started. Like this video, share this video, do all the things with this video. Besides my double down speaking course this week, which I think I've only got three or four people registered for at this point. So now would be a good time to register because I'm going to try to limit it. I'll probably close it each week at about 10 to 12 because it gets a little busy. It's popping. It is a pop-in class on those Wednesdays, 6 p.m. It's interactive, cameras on. It's a lot of fun. It's Toastmasters on steroids. I encourage you to join. Go to doubledownspeaking.com. All right, I'm going to do my peptides. I'm back. This is my first day doing fit again since the fast last week, the 84 hours of fasting, and now I'm taking the lean again. I actually did take the lean during the fast. I don't know if it helped me or not. I was halfway miserable most of the time, but I've got all my different things that I take here: the fit, the lean, and also the focus. So shake it up. Still some at the bottom there. You just shake a little better. Oh, I haven't had that in a while. Yes, yesterday's fast ended at approximately 8:30 a.m. It was 84. No, was it later than that? 9 a.m. I don't know. It was approximately 84 hours of fasting. So it was a lot of fun for everybody around me because I was not crabby at all. I was a perfect individual. Again, go ahead and put some comments. Let me know where you're watching from. It looks like we got some people on X. We've got a few people on Facebook. Excellent. All right. So I'm going to get right into it right after I, of course, also just go to the at Anthony Michael Russo on Instagram. You'll see all the different links, including our gear. This is my God's Got You t-shirt. We have things like pets are a lifetime commitment. A lot of fun. Some political, funny stuff if you want that as well. But let's get right into today. So 84 hours of fasting. And I'm going to provide some of the lessons I learned, which are also good for probably everybody out there. It's interesting. The biggest thing that I took away was when I went to the gym the last night of my fast, and I briefly did a video right after it where I talked about some of the things that are standing out to me. The purpose for me to fast was to listen to messages, to have a clear mind. And the one that I heard the most was the fact that I'm in the exact place I'm supposed to be, the exact place. And I find that very interesting because that's one of the biggest stressors I have. At the age of 42, with what I believe is a lot of gifts from God, a lot of things to be grateful for, but just not quite that failure to launch. And I heard something differently from Tony Robbins, and it was in my ear, and I've heard the same speech a million times, and typically it triggers me, and this time it actually motivated me and fueled me. And it's funny because I always talk about that the bulk of the people that follow me in terms of my speaking and go to my classes, their typical mission is to talk to the younger version of themselves. So my avatar is people that want to educate the younger version of themselves and realize that there's a mass amount of people that were in the exact same place that they were in. So therefore they could potentially help a lot of people have a business or whatever it might be, speak to a group of people. For me, I'm always like, I'm not my own avatar, interestingly enough. Maybe I am in a different way, but maybe I'm not there yet. Maybe I will be in a couple of years because I will be able to perfectly articulate how at the age of 42 you can get to the next step. So I was listening to Tony Robbins. He talks about the whole between the ages of born and 21, you're in the newborn phase, and then 21 to 42, that's your builder phase. This is where you create the relationships, the businesses, and the families. And I always heard this, and I was always like, oh my God, I'm at the end of that. I'm at the end of that chain. I'm at the end of that age bracket. And then he says 43 to 62, this is the part of your life. And I always heard it as this, like, you should have already made it to this point. And for some odd reason, the way that he said it in this version on whatever motivational thing I was listening to is he said, this is where you've put yourself in the right place from 21 to 42, and then your business explodes from 43 to 62. People know your name all of a sudden between 43 and 62. it's almost like the other part to me was if you don't make it by 42, you're in trouble. And in the other, and then when I heard this version is you're exactly where you're supposed to be. If you put yourself where you're supposed to be, then all of a sudden these next 20 years are meant for you to hyper accelerate. And all of a sudden I was like, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Yes, Casey, I'm old. I'm old and I'm not looking forward to retirement. I mean, I could be if I could just go snowboarding and skiing all the time. But I've had a lot of people send me messages, unlike Casey's here. I've had a lot of people send me messages last couple of days. It just touched me in a way that was very surprising to me about what it's meant to them, their family, to be a part of the classes, even the free class, and even just the quick hour I spend with people if they attend my class that's free. And like what I've seen from that, the impact that it's had on them and the impact it's had on me has been massive and incredibly enjoyable to know, because you can have an impact in whatever you do and you believe in it. So, all right, what was my number? I had a second point. Let me go to my notes. I had a second point. Bum 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 bum. Sometimes to change the world, you have to divide. This was a big message, especially from somebody that has had a little bit of a political platform for a while. There was there's some messaging from Jesus that are very interesting. Sorry, I got an itch. We often talk about how important it is to unite people, and I do believe there is a piece in and the idea to unite is a big deal. But I was reading some parts and looking at some parts and watching some things about the fact that when Jesus was here, there was a certain element of him that really brought people together, but he also discussed the need for division. And I was like, whoa, 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 what did he just say? And sometimes it was about the idea that sometimes you have to divide people in order to change the world. You don't always have to be fluffy and say, it's okay. Your truth is your truth. We can all just symbiotically be together, like calm down. No, there's a certain point where you do have to stand up for what you believe in. That was a big thing that I heard, and it stuck in my head so much because where there's this fine line when I've spent you and me, everybody that I know has spent so much time discussing politics in their life that you start to wonder if you're doing sometimes when you talk about it, if you're doing bad instead of good because you're making people angry at each other. But there's a certain point where you have to speak up, and it doesn't even have to be about politics. It's sometimes the division in families to stand up for, instead of enabling that family member. This is the message you can take with you. Instead of enabling that family member to continue to be an addict, or enabling the family member to continue to be a bad husband or a bad wife or all these different things, you have to realize how important it is to speak up at the risk of dividing people, because whether it's for spiritual purposes and saying like, look, you're a great person, and I am so far from a fire and brimstone style Christian, but when you share the word with people, and when you share your beliefs and truth and all these different things, you're going to face ridicule. Understand that. And that was a big message for me, because sometimes I'm like, have I done right by the fact that some of the things I've said have maybe triggered people or made people upset, whether it's from a motivational perspective or whether it's from a political perspective or whatever it might be. But did I believe as though I did the best I could to find the truth in every subject and the logic in every subject, and also kind of the God side of every subject? And I was like, I have. So in the end, if there's haters, if there's people that are upset, then that's just part of being a leader. Sometimes, in order to create unity, you have to first create division. That's it. So that's kind of the two big things I took away from my fast this last week. Also, I was very happy that I put it in a group because of based on what happened with Friday. And we went back to the vet last night for another horse because we're so paranoid at this point. For those that weren't watching on Friday, we lost a foal on Friday morning when I was rushing some other horses to go to the vet, and Kelly pulled out a dead foal, which is incredibly sad. It was an incredibly emotionally valuable horse, financially valuable horse, all the different things, and it was almost to term. It would have been a safe foaling, and it just didn't work out, and very sad. A lot of energy and effort goes into breeding, and I was watching on video and I see Kelly pulling out. I'm like, because we have a camera in there, and I'm like, I think things are going okay, and then I quickly realized that it wasn't, and it was stillborn, born dead. And the heartbreak that goes with that, on top of the heightened awareness with being on a fast for me, you feel helpless. And then that message, if you were watching that day, has turned into something in my head that was very interesting, which is, you get a rebreed and you do it again, and maybe God had a very specific plan, and that horse was not it for Kelly or for the world or for whatever it is. And the next horse that comes in its place might be that same horse, that same spirit, that same soul, and just done the way that God intended it. And God doesn't make mistakes. So something about that had to have had a purpose, had to be there for a purpose. That was it. So real quick, let me make sure I cover everything. I had a lot of notes today because I thought today was a very important one. So, some of the things I want to make sure you guys also know is this is kind of the thought process I had behind it for you is that God doesn't make mistakes. He places you exactly where you're supposed to be, even when it feels like it's not working out, even when it feels slow, even when it feels like everything else and everyone else is further ahead. You are not behind. I am not behind. I'm being built just like you are. And sometimes, in order to change the world, like I said, you have to be willing to divide. In order to make your family's life better, in order to make your community's life better, you have to be willing to divide. It sounds harsh. It sounds harsh, but truth doesn't always unify people. I think we've seen that in the last several years. Sometimes it cuts, sometimes it separates you from the crowd, and sometimes it separates you from the noise and from what's comfortable. And it sucks because sometimes, whether it's from a religious perspective or political perspective, you just have to stand alone. You have to be willing to stand alone. That is what leaders do, because division isn't destruction. It is divine distinction is a great way to say it. I like that verbiage, divine distinction. So it's a lot of different things today, and a lot of things I heard, and a longer daily truth than typical. But I wanted to give you some of the some of the things that I acquired in those 84 hours. And also, when you break a fast, be careful. Don't eat too much. I ate a mild amount, but I didn't break it the exact way you're supposed to break an 84-hour fast, because it wasn't for health purposes. It was for more of a spiritual purpose. So I'm like, I'll just ease into food. Anyways, stomach was a little iffy. That's all. So remember, you're not lost. You're not late. You're in a season of God with realignment in your own life. God is realigning you to be the person that you're supposed to be. And maybe it's taken me a little bit longer to get to this hyper accelerated growth than I might have thought, but I might be in the perfect season for me right now. And it also will allow me to touch the lives of people that are younger than me when they're listening to me. And then maybe that 50-year-old that thinks that they want to give up, or that 60-year-old that thinks that it's too late to do something, or even that 70-year-old that says, what am I going to do in the next 10 years of my life? Trust me, if I can find a way to inspire and motivate people by speaking to the younger version of myself, which is me right now, in 5 years, that's what I'm going to do. And that's where God put me. And that's why God put me right here, is to change those lives, to change my own life, in order to inspire people to never give up and realize they're exactly where they're supposed to be. Please take one thing with you today: rise and disrupt with purpose. That's what I got for you guys. That's today's daily truth. Wow, we hit 100. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Waz, for sharing this on X. We actually had 100 live viewers right now. Thank you, guys. I would love to see some of you on my free speaking class, doubledownspeaking.com. It's like Toastmasters on steroids. It's been a lot of growth in the last few weeks. So we've got a lot of people. So come on over. Have fun this Wednesday. Just go to doubledownspeaking.com. The gear, if you want to check it out, is on the website. Just go to, or on the shop website. If you want to check it out, just go to @AnthonyMichaelRusso. And in the bio, or in the links up top, you'll see all the different links to the gear. Use Truth for 20% off. For the water, for Century H2O, use Russo 10. Somebody bought one last month, so kudos. I've had like one purchase a month on those. Best water filtration on the planet. I need to get mine shifted into this house, because I'm drinking crap plastic bottled water, and it's disgusting, and I can taste it. I checked the pH, because we're checking the pH for the mares, and it's terrible. I'm like, why am I drinking this crap? And then last but not least, what am I forgetting? I feel like there's one other thing. I don't know. Did I forget one of my main things? Oh, the peptides, of course. Make Wellness Peptides. That link is in there as well. Make sure you join the team. Pain Train's coming. I feel great. I noticed when I wasn't on my Fit, by the way, which is like an NAD replacer. So go ahead and check out that stuff. I encourage you to give it a look see, as that's what I've been on for a while. really helping my workouts, helping my focus, helping all the different things. And I'm back on lean again. So I'm going to try to, since I had a little jump start with the fast, I'll try to cut some weight and feel lean and feel fit. Take it easy, guys. God bless. Don't be a garbage human being. Like this video, share this video, do all things with this video.